everyone, happy Tuesday. So today I'm going to do a video about breastfeeding. I know I haven't done a video in a little while, and it's because I've been really tired. I just had my baby girl. She is a little over 6 weeks. It's been kind of rough with her not letting me put her down, so I'm going to try to do a quick video while I'm driving to pick up my son from daycare. So about breastfeeding, I am going to talk about things I did not know, that I didn't learn in like the books that I read or the little apps that I had about breastfeeding. Some of the stuff that happened to me, and what probably didn't happen to everyone, but for me it was a couple of things that was really surprising. Some of the stuff is embarrassing, but hey, it's the truth of what happened to me, so I want to share it with you all so that if someone else is going through it, it's not embarrassing. But either way, so one of the things that I experienced with breastfeeding is that you know, part of our body, one boob can be bigger than the other boob, and I noticed that when I started breastfeeding, the boob that was already bigger than the other side ended up getting bigger, so it was like almost a cup size difference. So I'm walking around with different size breasts, so you know, it's a little awkward. It's kind of what's the word, I don't know, I was really embarrassed. Every time I go outside, you know, I felt really uneasy. I was always looking down at myself, trying to make sure that it wasn't really noticeable. Like when I have my nursing bras on, I would put an extra pad on the breast that was smaller, try to even it out. But you know, it makes you self-conscious of yourself, so you know, your body literally kind of just changes and makes you look kind of crazy. But it's part of, you know, life, and I'm feeding my baby, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if I look crazy as long as I'm feeding my child. So that's one of the things I did not expect, and it happened with my son and now with my daughter. It's not as bad with my daughter, so that's great, but I just remember my girlfriend came over and she noticed it immediately. So that's the thing to be aware of. Another thing is, so when I breastfeed, sometimes, you know, it's hard when you're hungry, you're trying to do so much, catch up on things, and mainly one part is being hungry and eating. So when I would sit down and eat, I would be feeding my baby. So it didn't happen with my son, but with my daughter, I noticed that whenever she starts feeding and your breast lets down, basically meaning your milk is starting to come out, and then if she comes off and I don't realize it, I look down and it's literally spraying all over her. So now I know I have to keep, you know, I have to make sure that I'm paying attention. Like I don't know, it just sprays. So and you know, after a while, after she eats, she feeds for a couple minutes, then starts to slow down, then it's okay. But just be mindful when you're breastfeeding, just kind of pay attention, because you don't want to make, you know, you don't want to get your baby all wet. Sorry. So with my son, I didn't breastfeed for more than a week or 2 weeks. It's because when he latched on, he literally tried to, it felt like he was about to rip me off, like literally shaking his head back side to side. So I basically just started pumping into a bottle and fed him that way. With my daughter, she did it to me too, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try to tough it out. And I did, and come to find out, after a couple of days later, your nipple actually starts to get used to it, I guess you could say, and the pain isn't as bad now. Now it doesn't hurt really as much. So she's still latching on to me, which is great. So another thing that I will say, when you have a breast pad on and you go out, just make sure it is all even, because if not, you will look deformed. I always have to make sure that the breast pad isn't folded up or wrinkled up inside, because if you have a tight shirt on, which I hardly ever wear now, but if you have a tight shirt on or something, you do want to make sure that your breast pad is evenly spread out, and your bra is looking even, so that it doesn't look all bunched up. What else do you need to be mindful of? Leaking. You gotta worry about your breast leaking into your shirts. The one time that did to me, and I didn't realize it, we were outside in public. Thankfully, I had a black shirt on. I guess my boob let down. I knew it did, but I thought I stopped it because, you know, you can put your arms across you and try to stop. And I thought I did, but I guess it was still leaking. And my whole right side from my breast on down was wet. But thankfully I had a black shirt on. I don't think people really noticed. I finally noticed after, like, I think I was leaning over something and my shirt touched my stomach, because, you know, it was a loose shirt. So when I felt the wetness, that's when I realized, oh gosh, you know, I'm wet. So just have to be careful with that. What else? I guess that's really it. The main things that I didn't know about, that I didn't read about, no one told me about, that I just learned on my own. So some of the things that you want to be mindful of. So with breastfeeding also, just some FYI, I ended up donating my breast milk. So if you're very fortunate to be able to produce milk, because I was very fortunate. I had 8 girls that I work with that we were all pregnant at the same time, and I was one of the girls that actually was fortunate enough to breastfeed for over a year. A lot of girls couldn't do more than 3 months or 6 months. So because of knowing that, I wanted to give back, since I was blessed to be able to feed my child, especially with him being allergic to the milk protein, because he was pooping blood. That's how we found out. And I couldn't eat dairy or soy. It was terrible. But either way, what I did was I Googled online and Googled breast milk donation, and I found out that the closest place for me to donate to was Cary, North Carolina. And it's the Wake Med hospital there. So I contacted them, and it was an easy process. All I had to do was fill out a form. I did have to go to a LabCorp type place, but it was so simple. I had my son with me. It was quick. It took 10 minutes. All that I had to do was walk in. They took some lab work, and that was it. And then the process is completely simple. They do basically everything for you. They send you a package, and it's already filled out. And they have I can't remember if they have ice packs. I think they did have ice packs. Yes, I think so. But it's lined so that the box will stay cool. And then the paperwork's filled out, so all you have to do is literally just take the back off and stamp it onto the box. But you want to donate, I think we had to at least donate at least 200 ounces at a time to send the box off. And you just contact the number that's on it. It's literally a step-by-step process, and it's on the paperwork. And I did that, left it out on the front porch, and they came and got it. So it's really easy. It's nice to know that, you know, if you're blessed to be able to feed your child and you have more than enough, donate to, you know, to the sick kids, especially the premature babies. They really need breast milk. So that's what I ended up doing. So if you are fortunate enough to produce milk, please think of that to help other babies out that really need it. If I think of anything else that I learned on the process of breastfeeding, I will definitely add on to this video. Thank you.